So today we're going to be, today basically I wanted to make a new version of the TYVEK wallet that I made and brought with us on the GR10. This puppy weighs 4 grams and it held up really, really well. But there are a few design flaws with it. These edges I just left sharp on this one, and I cut like this big circle. It was similar to some other designs I found on the internet. And although it's fairly good, it's not actually a very good design for it. But I really love this wallet and I just wanted to make a new version of it. Also, I originally made one for my dad like this, and although he loves it, he wants one that can hold more cards in it, so we're also going to be making a 2-layer version of it. And as we'd be doing it, I thought that we should film the whole thing and document it and show exactly how to make them. And because we're making this intro after we've done it, this is what the 4-layer one looks like. You can see it holds 4 cards. I mean, you could put probably several cards in each layer. And it also has a thing. This fits UK and European money. And this is the remake of the original version with just 2 card slots in it. And you can fit 2, 3, you could fit loads of cards in a single one if you really wanted to. They weigh 4.5 and 5.5 grams, like the scale sort of flickering between the two. And I'm really happy with them, and let's get straight into it and show you exactly how to make them. These are the blueprints for the wallets. The red lines are where you want to stitch. There are a few extra stitching bits that I have not marked on the diagrams, which you can see in the video. I suggest you look at these for a long time before trying to make it and get your head around how everything folds together. So step 1 is going to be to just cut out the rough shapes of the 2 things. Got the blueprints here so don't make any mistakes. Let's get to work. Okay, so now I've marked out the outer dimensions of both the wallets we're going to be making. I'm going to cut them out so we have smaller pieces to work with and don't have this massive piece of TYVEK. It's really important to mark that one as accurately as possible. I was using a square, I double marked everything, I really took my time because if the overall dimensions are even off by a little bit when you start folding and manipulating it later, it's going to be off, so take your time at that bit. Right, so now it's time to draw all of the blueprints onto the actual things. So I have finished marking out the 1-layer TYVEK wallet, and now I'm going to cut out the window so you can slide the card in. I'm just going to use a knife, and so I originally cut them out with a pair of scissors, which was pretty good. It's kind of difficult, I didn't have anything to cut on, but for this I'm going to use a knife. And I've got to make sure I cut the right bits. Just like that, and I'll go and do all the rest. so now what you want to do is just fold in all of the corners. These bits are going to make the opening in the wallet, and you should have cut them so that they have a little flap by them. So you cut out the inner square and then back 10 mil, and you want to fold them all over like so. Okay, so next stage is to fold this all nicely. So you want to take your top upwards, so this is going to be the outer face, I probably should have said that at the beginning. You want to take your 6 mil lines, fold them inwards on both sides. Like so. I've pre-folded this just to make this a little bit quicker. Then you want to flip it over. You want to fold the side furthest away from this one, inwards, like so. Then you want to fold the other side. Like so. And then the whole thing will fold over. And that is what the finished wallet is going to look like. It's a very clean one. We just need to stitch it all together. Okay, so we've got both of them folded beautifully. Now we need to stitch them. There is an order we're going to stitch them in, so going with the one layer first, we want to do the back stitch. Now this is purely aesthetic, but I like it because it sort of gives them a seamless look on both sides, otherwise you're missing a line of stitching on that side. And then once that back stitch is in place, I want to stitch in these little flaps. They're going to need a line of stitch down the middle, and then the whole thing will need stitching all the way around on the face. Apart from not the top again, otherwise that's closed. This one, same thing, apart from we have to remember to do the middle layer and the outer layer, and we need these extra lines of stitching on this layer to stop the card sliding all the way in. Okay, so the first bit is to stitch along these two lines. We'll do the first one on camera. So you just want to really make sure your needle's lined up in the first hole. A little bit of reverse. I'm going to hand crank it because I really don't want to get this wrong. It's very visible, this bit. Perfect. Stitching at 8 stitches per inch. Excuse the stupid units. This is a very low position. I really take my time to do this absolutely perfectly. Okay. Back into reverse. And then a little bit of forward finish. Superb. Okay, so next up you want to fold over the back half, so the one that doesn't have the doorway on it. And you want to put a line of stitching on it. This is just artistic, you don't have to do this, but I think it gives that clean look. So here we go. So now we're going to stitch the other side, the one that has the window on it. I'm going to use a zigzag stitch with this bit just to make it a bit easier so I can hit both sides, but if your machine doesn't have a zigzag gear, if you're doing it by hand, you can just sew very, very close to the edge. Okay, so now I'm just going to stitch all the way around. I'm going to alternate to a zigzag stitch for this one and do straight stitches for the other two. Okay, so now that's both sides sewn together. Little pocket here, and that, so I sewed them all in the right order. We'll fold it up and test it inside in a minute. Not my best stitching work, but I was a little bit out of practice and I did have the pressure of a camera, so hey ho. Number 2, slightly different order. So I'm going to start off with the same thing as before, stitching these bits flat. So I'll do that and then get back to you. Okay, so I've sewed all these bits in. Next step is on the side away from all of the gaps. Sew this line across. Okay, so I sewed that in. I used a zigzag this time because I realised with this one you got zigzag on the top and bottom and straight lines, while this one you got one zigzag, so I did that zigzag to be nicer this time. Next up I'm going to fold this side over, which is looking like that, and I'm going to stitch on along these restraining lines here. Okay, so I have folded this one down and stitched it on both sides, well, on one side. Now we're going to fold it in half and stitch along this top line here, because we can't stitch along it later because it would sew it closed. Okay, that's starting to look pretty sweet, I think, so now I'm just going to fold it in half and go with the final sew. The stitching came out way better on this one. It's a bit more focused and no camera, so all these pockets, yeah, that side's working, this side's working. Let's go inside and get them tested properly. So these will turn out pretty good. I'm really happy with this new design. So this was the original one, and you know, it's all scratched up a bit and these slidey bits don't work quite as well as they used to, but I think I fixed all the issues with that now. Nice smooth edges here, smooth edges internally, really happy with that. And this 4-section one is wicked, and the weight as well, which I think was 5 and 6 grams, Finn?
About 4.5 and 5.5, they were kind of fluctuating between.
Yeah, I think we took some photos on the scales, but anyway, one's about 5.5 and one's about 4.5. So I was really happy with that. This one also kind of, that was total accident, that little R symbol there, but I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, and they're so much thinner. Look how much thinner they are compared to this thing.
Oops.
Wait, this one.